Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is a beautiful day here in San Diego, nice and warm. And I hope wherever you are, it is a beautiful day as well. And this is In the Raw, Unscripted, Unpracticed, Unedited Conversation. I'm doing much better with my eye. As you know, I had surgery earlier this week, and I'm still recovering, but I'm doing much better. I can still see a little blurry, but I can see much better. And yeah, I'm glad that things are turning out right, and no complications with that. And I've been thinking about a topic, and people have asked about this. I know that you might have that question. People have asked about, is it okay to, when somebody passes away, is it okay to cremate them? And what does the Bible say about cremation? And the Bible does not give any specific teaching about cremation. However, there are occurrences in the Old Testament of people being burned to death. 1 Kings 16:18 and 2 Kings 21:6. And it also has a reference of human bones being burnt. But these are not examples of cremation. It is interesting to note that in 2 Kings 23, verses 16 through 20, burning human bones on an altar desecrated the altar. At the same time, the Old Testament law nowhere commands a deceased human body not to be burned, nor does it attach any curse or judgment on someone who is cremated. So, it's really something that, is a preference. The Bible doesn't condemn it. The Bible doesn't instruct it either. Like, doesn't say, it doesn't say one way or the other, in other words. But cremation was practiced during biblical times. It wasn't commonly practiced by the Israelites or by the New Testament believers. In the cultures of Bible times, burial was like, if it was in a tomb, can't speak. It wasn't in the tomb, a cave, or in the ground. That was the common way to dispose of human body, and you can read about it throughout the Bible. And so burial was a common practice. The Bible nowhere commands burial as the only allowed method of disposing a body. So the question still lingers. Is cremation something that a Christian can consider? And again, there's no explicit scriptural command against cremation. Some believers object to the practice of cremation on the basis that it doesn't recognize that one day God will resurrect our bodies and reunite them with our soul and spirit, as it says in 1 Corinthians 15:35 through 58, and in 1 Thessalonians 4:16, because it says there that we're going to resurrect. Excuse me, God's going to resurrect us, and we're going to be in a body. However, the fact that a body has been cremated does not make it any more difficult for God to resurrect that body. The bodies of Christians who died 1,000 years ago, by now have completely turned into dust. So this will in no way prevent God from being able to resurrect their bodies. He created them in the first place, and he will have no difficulty in recreating them. So cremation does nothing but expedite the process of turning the body into dust. And it's, people do it because of convenience. It's less costly, and people do it because, it's easier to, more than anything, a preference, So God can that argument, that God's not going to be able to resurrect a body that has been cremated is really not an argument. God is equally able to raise a person's remains that have been cremated as he is with the remains of a person who was not cremated. Think about somebody who died at sea, in the ocean, and has disappeared in the ocean. Maybe, and I know it's kind of, I'm not going to say inappropriate, but it's kind of gory to say, that it was somebody's or some fish's food, or shark or whale or somebody. I mean, not somebody. So one of these creatures might have had them as a meal, and so the body is completely gone. God is going to resurrect. The Bible says that the sea will give up its dead also, and so God will resurrect anybody that has passed away. There's no problem for God to do that. So cremation is not an exception. So the question of whether you bury somebody or cremate somebody is within the realm of everybody's preference and freedom. So a person or family considering this issue should pray for wisdom and follow the conviction that results from that. So there's no wrong answer. There's no right, about that. It just depends on the family. It depends on the person. And again, it's just a preference. So it doesn't make you less Christian. It doesn't, to be cremated, it doesn't prevent you from going to heaven, because it's just the body. The Bible says the body will become dust again. This body that we have, will disintegrate, will disappear, and it's not as important as what's inside of us, our soul, our spirit, and that's what we need to take care of more after we die. We need to make sure that it goes to the right place. All right, well, I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, and we will talk to you soon.